Hey,
Good afternoon.
sunshine in the Pacific Northwest.
It's not raining, but it is cold. It is cold. This is our Friday video check-in, saying hello to everyone. This afternoon, we are standing on the grounds of the Fort Vancouver site, and behind us is our favorite place in the world. This is the gazebo that has a lot of history for us. And if you guys have listened to the 1 + 1 = 3 Name Your Marriage episode, while Brenda and I were dating, we ended most of our dating evenings here at the gazebo. And so the name of our marriage is the gazebo. And right now it's still in really good condition. It's got fresh paint on it. It's a great place to dance.
A nice dance floor.
It's kind of where we really come to rekindle our romance and think about some great memories through the years. So we've got a few things we want to talk to you about today, but just kind of maybe give them a real quick tour of where we're at.
So
again, we are at the Fort Vancouver Regional National Historic Site. These buildings and these grounds have been actually part of the National Historic Site for well over, probably 50, 60 years. And the significance is what's coming up is that these were the parade grounds of the cavalry during who knows when cowboys and Indians were really a big issue. But it really came alive during the Civil War, and one of the buildings that are behind us is what's called Officers Row, and I think we maybe already kind of shot by one of the buildings that has the flags out in front of it. I don't know if you can see that one, but that's called the Grant House, and that is where actually Ulysses S. Grant lived for a little while during his time here in the Northwest District. So we're going to kind of walk up to the gazebo here so we can
Well, they have a lot of battle reenactments here, and the big 4th of July fireworks show is here. This place is really hopping during the summer, and we love to come down here and walk and hang out, but I just want to show you the top of this gazebo here inside. It's really cool. Woo!
Yeah.
Might get a little car sick.
Yeah. We don't want people getting car sick. Yeah. So kind of turning around back this direction.
Let's go this way.
This is kind of where we did a lot of our dancing in the evening. And
disco dancing.
Disco
dancing.
Disco
ball hanging
the
in.
tango. Yeah. We did a lot of stuff here.
That's one thing I forgot to ask Gil, or kind of ran him through the questionnaire before we got married, is does he have dance moves?
No, I have no dance moves.
And luckily that wasn't
I have absolutely no rhythm, no dance moves, but I don't step on your toes.
No, you got rhythm.
Yeah, we did okay. But yeah, Brenda tried to teach me how to do the tango here, and this is really a big part of our dating life. But what's more significant is that actually where we're standing is where I actually proposed to Brenda. It'll be 15 years on the 25th. Wow, 25 years ago. 15 years ago. Yeah, on the 25th. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. But on the 15th of 15 years it'll be for us this year. And in remarried math, that's a lot of years. 7 times 15. You guys do the math.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what that means, listen to one of the podcasts, get the book, something like that. So anyway, I wanted to talk to everybody today about important communication, and the most effective way of communicating is, in our modern day, is via text. How do you feel about texting important information? Bad. Don't do it. Why do you do it? Don't do that. Yeah, I mean, we get into big conversations on text messaging and things. You can't tell the tone, you can't tell the voice, and you're getting into serious issues. And if it's just kind of, hey, pick up some milk and ice cream on the way home, or an extra loaf of bread, that's one thing. Or, hey, we need to be at such and such a place. But when you're into serious conversation, do you like it if I text you? No, I can't tell your tone. I'm usually misunderstood, and I misunderstand you. And it's just not worth it. So I know this is the text age, and maybe we're old, I don't know, old school. We just really encourage you, have those important conversations face to face, eyeball to eyeball. I like what Gil says sometimes is knee to knee. Yeah. Well, I think when we're texting, things can escalate. I can misunderstand what you're saying. And then when I escalate, my emotions start getting hot. And before I know it, I'm ticked off, and then I'm texting you back something else, and before you know it, then when we reconvene and I see you in person, I'm all mad at you, and I haven't even really seen you. I haven't touched you. I haven't gotten to look at your voice. And when I say look, I look at your voice because
okay.
Again, a lot of times we forget that communication is about 97% of what the other person's body is telling you, and their eyes and their tone, and only about 7% about what you're saying is really heard.
So 90% is your tone.
97% of what you say is through your body
language.
Yeah.
And 10% is
7%.
the words.
Yeah,
Anyway.
3%. We're not getting our percentages too good here.
90 and 10.
But I think the point is that texting really can set off emotional hot spots in us.
Yeah.
Especially in our brains. And I think what I'd like to kind of share with people today is that when you're having a significant conversation with your love of your life, your bride, your groom, the person that you're still dating, because you are still dating,
right?
You want to talk about, well...
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Just date. Make sure you date.
Make
Otherwise,
sure you
we'll come and find you.
Yes. But I think the point I'd like to get across is that when you have a significant conversation, put down the phone, turn off the text, and wait till you can actually be in one another's presence. And if it's possible, hold hands. Look at each other and hold hands with one another, so that hopefully soothes your brain, and it kind of is like mental hot pot holders, being able to be able to get the hot stuff and hold one another, because that ability for our bodies to soothe and be quiet and then be able to connect is so important. And texting just doesn't do that. And it's dangerous, especially if it's something really important about your relationship. So because we love each other, if it's really important, we say, hey, let's talk later in person. And the ability to have that physical touch and being knee to knee is so important. So again, important stuff, save it for when you're live and in person.
Yeah, and I think even if you don't feel like touching, even just holding hands during an argument, sometimes just like you said, that connection that our brains need to just kind of bring it down a little.
Since I've been sitting in the counselor's chair, literally I was in session yesterday with a couple, and it was kind of hot, but they weren't so hot that they couldn't connect. So I said, now, Mrs. address Mr., but before you talk, gently grab his hand and talk to him. And when she did, he thought, well, this is corny, this is stupid. But after they actually had the exchange, I said, how did that go? And he goes, I thought it was dumb, but actually I felt the connection with her like I didn't before. We were just exchanging information, but when we touched, we actually had a connection, and there was a place in my heart that opened up a little bit, and I thought, okay, now we're on to something.
Yeah.
So, golly, when you're talking about the tough stuff or even the good stuff, that physical connection is a lot about the body. And so just being present in the moment with one another is so important. So we want to encourage you today just to do that. Find your special place, even when it's freezing cold outside, and just go enjoy a moment to be together and enjoy the time. So again, I just love you so much. I'm so glad you said yes.
Thank you for asking.
Even though you asked me out on the first date. So just own it. Would you just own it? So
whatever.
Anything else you'd like to say to these fine people?
Don't forget.
If you ain't got the marriage,
you ain't got nothing.
Okay,
Go
love
have
y'all.
some fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay warm.